What's up, guys? Hopefully all of you are doing well. Today we're going to be making some real soul food, down home candied yams. You know, the kind that make you question whether you should be even eating them or not. The kind the old people used to say that'll warm the cockles of your little heart. Let's get started. So I'm going to start by grabbing about 7 pounds of garnet yams. This is what I can get my hands on. You can use whatever variety of sweet potato you can get your hands on where you live. I'm just going to cut them in about 1 to 1.5 inch squares. Be careful when you do that. No matter what shape we cut these yams into, you want to make sure they're around the same size. That's going to ensure that they're all going to cook at the same time. Even cooking is what we're going for here. For the exact measurements to this recipe, check out gdseasoning.com. The link will be below in the description. And here are the rest of our ingredients. I have white sugar, brown sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, melted butter, honey, and some orange zest. Now I'm going to place my cut yams right into a 15-inch roaster that I have, and I'm just going to combine all of the ingredients, the white sugar, the brown sugar, the spices. I'm going to add my honey and orange zest, and then I'm going to pour over all that melted butter, lots of melted butter. This recipe has actually been on my website for about 6 years now, but what I did was I adjusted it a little bit to give you a bigger yield. So 7 pounds of yam should give you about 10 or 12 servings easily, but you can double or even triple the recipe. I'm going to finally add my vanilla in, give everything a thorough mix, and since I was using unsalted butter, I needed to go ahead and add a teaspoon of salt. By this time, you should have your oven preheating at 375 degrees. All right, now we're going to bake these covered at 375 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. For about the past 3 or 4 years, I've been using parchment paper in between foil and my food. That's just a habit that I've developed. You don't have to do that, but that's just me, all right? So if you don't feel comfortable with that, no harm done. After about the first 35 or 40 minutes, those potatoes are already well on their way cooking, but we don't want them cooked to death at this point. Here's what we're looking for. You're going to take one of the yams, and you're going to stick a fork in one of them just to see how tender it is. We really want resistance. We just want to be able to stick the fork in, but you want to feel quite a bit of resistance. See that? The cooking process has started, but we're nowhere near done. Now I'm going to take some flour, just some regular old all-purpose flour, and I'm going to take some of that syrup that's in the pan and combine it to make a slurry, or what's called a slurry. And I'm going to whisk that until it's smooth. If you were to dump that flour right in there thinking it's going to thicken up and work, it's not. What it's going to do, you're just going to have little balls of flour in your yams. It's going to make you mad. So go ahead and whisk it until it's smooth and then turn it right back into the pan. We're going to continue to bake uncovered, all right, at 375 degrees for about an hour, or just until that syrup is nice and thick and those potatoes are nice and tender. We are well on our way. This is about halfway through the cooking time for me. I cut my yams in about 1 inch in diameter. You can go 1.5. Just remember, the larger they are, depending on the shape also, they may take a little longer to cook, but you'll know when you see it. Now, it's inevitable every time I do a recipe that contains yams, quote unquote, or sweet potatoes. Someone is going to get down in them comments and want to argue what the difference is. Let me tell you, they are all a variety of sweet potato. Whether it's a jewel sweet potato, or a Hannah sweet potato, or a garnet quote unquote yam, or a Japanese sweet potato, all of them are varieties of sweet potato. Free your mind and open up your taste buds. You'll be just fine. Once the candied yams are done, the yams are going to be tender like this. The syrup is going to be nice and thick like this. And needless to say, the aroma of these yams is going to send the smell wafting through your house of butter and sugar and cinnamon and nutmeg. You know what it smells like? Home. That's what it smells like. You can taste all of the butter, the sugars, and the warmth from the spices. You see, candied yams is not one of those dishes that's super expensive. You don't have to spend a lot of money. All it takes is a little time and a little effort to put together a dish that you know your family will love. When I did this video for the first time 6 years ago, here's how I presented the candied yams, with a little toasted pecans on top for some texture. But you guys have lots of choices, so go ahead and present your candied yams the way you want them presented. Thank you guys so much for joining me. You know I appreciate it when you come cook with me and hang out. Don't forget, this recipe and others can be found at gdseasoning.com. And I'll see you guys next time.